Welcome to the show, everybody, on this Thursday, September the 11th. And I've got my good buddy, Peter Dychtiar, sitting over here. And, Peter, I'm just a little bit upset. I wasn't going to do a show today. Yeah. If you wouldn't have come in, I wouldn't have done a show today. And why? Because of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I just didn't have it in my heart to do a show, and I'm just beside myself. And people are going, why? You didn't know this guy? Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I knew him well. I spent time with him every day.
Yeah.
I watched him every single day because his message was so clear. He wasn't about violence. He was about dialogue. He was about discussing anything and making sense of it for all these university kids who are being indoctrinated by these left-wing radical socialist professors at their university. He went in there to make sure that they had an open dialogue so they knew the other side of the story, and he treated it like that. He's been doing it for a long time. The guy was 31. I don't know if there's anybody in the United States who has had an effect on university kids this generation more than Charlie Kirk at this point. This is a big loss for America, and it's a big loss for everybody in America. And don't think Canada's immune to this.
No.
We're seeing it manifest itself in Canada as well. I'm beside myself. I mean, we have the 24th anniversary of 9/11, 9/11. Yeah. I'm just going to straighten out this camera, Peter. Excuse me for a second. Yeah. It's bothering me. I'm a little bit ADS here, whatever you want to call it. That's straight. That's better. Okay. And we're thinking about all those who died in 9/11, and we're going to get the real story about what really happened there as well. But right now, that is just secondary to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Like I say, we're going to talk in length about it. The whole show is going to be about this.
Yeah,
we're not going anywhere else today. But I have to get to my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hemel Machine Company, and Niagara Parks Commission. If you need to have your car checked out, be proactive. Look, and I'm looking right now, the leaves are falling off the trees. They're starting to turn colors already. We know what's coming, and you know what's coming for your car, winter. You want to make sure you get your car checked out. You get all your systems checked out, so your heater works, your brakes are good. You worry about the snow tires a little bit later, but get your car in now to get it checked out, that oil change, and be ready for winter. You don't want to break down in the cold November rain. That's the last thing you want to do. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership, wildbillsauto.ca. And while you're at his website, don't forget to flip over to the Your City, Your Voice video. You got to go over there. You got to subscribe. Come on, get this algorithm going. Let's go. More subscribers, the better. We have an election coming up. We have big events in the world going on, and we talk about them all on Your City, Your Voice. We give you the straight scoop on them. We don't pull any punches. We're not going to pull them today. Go and subscribe, hit the notification, leave comments, especially on today's show. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, and I'm sure everybody has a comment, good or bad. I've seen people dancing in the aisles over it. Leave a comment. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. They support the city. They support the show. They are just good corporate citizens. Peter, I was seriously not coming in today after I heard about the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say I'm unapologetically Christian. I want that put out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I wore this shirt today. That's all we got left.
Yeah, I had a hard time. You asked me last night, and I said yes. And then it's like, I'm a broadcaster. Do I want to come in and talk about it and make some kind of notoriety off of this person's death? And then I realized, hey, I'm a broadcaster, and it's my duty to speak. And as a Christian, it's my duty to speak. And when darkness covers, silence only lets that darkness grow. And if we don't stand up and we're not a voice, then that darkness will cover us and we won't see the light. And that's what this is all about. And it's been a tough year for me. I lost Gary Talasi, who worked with me at CHOW Radio on Your Money Matters. He was also my financial advisor. Rick Rose, Rita Carey from the Pete and Reed Show, John Yankovic, who was our director and producer. And I can tell you truthfully, I don't know why. And I've watched Charlie for years. My son got me onto Charlie, and Charlie spanned over young to senior citizens. I fell in love with the guy, his courage, his message, and I feel the same loss I feel for those people. That's how I feel today.
I'm with you. I'm with you on it. And you know, I wouldn't have done this show, but at the end of the day, a guy like Charlie Kirk would want you to do a show because he never believed in being silenced. He believed in the Constitution. He believed in freedom of speech. And that's why he went into the viper's pit to every university talking to these kids, these kids that are being indoctrinated. And he went and talked to them about good Christian values, about the Constitution, about the things that they were learning and had questions about. They were being molded into.
About why they had freedom in the first place. And just logically think about this. Kids in public schools and Catholic schools and in universities didn't learn this stuff on their own, to hate, to be race baited, to get into narratives, to stand up and support things like Hamas, who is a radical, disgusting group that tortured and abused people, 1,200 young people. You have to say, where is this coming from? And the only logical answer is it's coming from education. Charlie Kirk knew that. And that's why Charlie Kirk got in there. And you see, people would think, oh, he was a coward. Okay. He got up there and he spoke these things, and he hated people, and he was all about, he was anti-abortion, and he was all about marriage. And he just said what the Bible told him. But he wasn't a coward. He was actually a hero. And his message that was carried to millions around the world will now go viral. That message will be blown out there so big. He could have never done it. You know, his death unfortunately had to happen, but this is going to go everywhere, and Christians are going to have to stand up and be counted.
Yeah, and this isn't the end. I mean, Charlie Kirk being shot in the neck by an assassin, let's call it what it was, an assassination, is not the end, it's the beginning. Yeah. And conservatives are going to have to get louder. They're going to have to get louder. They're going to have to make their case known. And you know,
you're so right, because tyrants, when they're destroyed and killed, they disappear. Martyrs, that's just the beginning of the story.
Exactly. He is a martyr, and that's the beginning. And, you know, I sit here and I go, well, you know, this show, I got 170 subscribers and I'm on every day, a big deal. Like, what's the difference if I sit here? But the difference is that there's got to be conservative voices out there, and there aren't any. Now, this guy gets shot dead, Charlie Kirk, and conservatives, you know, want to say, well, I don't want to get shot dead in that.
Yeah.
But Charlie knew the risks. He knew the risks of going into the liberal viper's pit and saying what he had to say.
Yeah, they don't kill the weak, they kill the strong.
That's right. And he was a threat to them. And he was taken out. Same as Trump is a threat. And they shot him and tried to shoot him again. This isn't new. This is the way the left-wing radicals operate. If they can't beat you, they kill you.
Cowards. Abraham Lincoln, okay, JFK, RFK,
MLK.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all the same.
It is exactly the same. When you're a threat, you haven't got the guts. You haven't got the strength to stand up and face somebody face to face. You do the coward's cheap way. I don't like what they're saying. I don't like what they're doing. Even though it's freedom of speech, you're gone. You're out of here. And they make that decision. And don't think that shooter, by any chance, anyhow, did that on his own. That came from the swamp, deep in the swamp.
Yeah. And the whole circumstances around it are they're starting to come out now, exactly what's going on. I was listening to Steven Crowder. I don't know if you ever listened to Crowder.
Yes, absolutely.
And he has a lot of inside information available to him.
Yep.
And he mentioned the ATF on this video this morning, and this being a transgender. Now, I don't know the veracity of it. I don't know how true it is, but he made a great point about it. You know, these people sit there and they call Trump and Charlie Kirk Nazis, fascists, relating them in a comparing them to Hitler, who killed 6 million Jews. They liken them, and then you've got some wacko with mental illness and strung out on hormones, sitting in a liberal arts university, being indoctrinated, and he does something like this. Now, the one thing I don't agree with the Crowder is that this is some student, because this shot was pretty damn good for a student. This
Dead on.
Yeah, from 200 yards. Yeah, he hit him right in the neck.
Where he talks from, where his vocal cords are.
And he was talking about transgender violence at the time. You know, there's a lot of coincidences, but I don't believe in a lot of them. This looks like a planned hit to me.
Yeah, you can look at it the opposite way. Trust me when I tell you, all this stuff, the hit on Trump, there's no doubt 100% that everybody in government, in Secret Service, were involved in that whole thing. You can't tell me when you're supposed to be at the highest point looking over and you don't see a guy on the garage roof, on that warehouse roof. And it's pathetic how we turn a blind eye to things and we don't see it for what it is. This definitely, I mean, it also could be a plan. Okay, you put the transgender into the situation. Now you're infuriating a bunch of people. You don't know that. And it may never be. And that person may never show up. And that person may never make it out alive from wherever they are, right? They may take them out. So it's always got to be some kind of baiting to get you in fear and hate of each other, hate of minorities, hate of race, hate of religion. And that's how they work. And I don't trust anything that comes out of the media anymore. I just don't.
No, you can't. And you know, Charlie Kirk was the voice for these students. There's a lot of students that love Charlie Kirk, and how they're going to react, I don't know. This is a turning point. This is a turning point for America. And his thing was called Turning Point USA.
Yeah, I think it's a turning point for Canada as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I think it is. You saw just the other day, 200 or 300 people march on the courthouse in St. Catharines because of this horrible incident in Welland. And I've been preaching this crime thing for 3 years on this show, that they got to take an interest. These politicians are responsible, whether it's city, regional, provincial, or federal. They've got to be the ones to start. And finally, Frank Campion, the mayor of Welland, was at this demonstration, and they were demonstrating about this guy getting out on bail. He had a charge of sexual assault against him, and then he goes in and assaults a 3-year-old little girl who had to be sent to a trauma center. I hate to even talk about it. It makes me sick. But this is the kind of people that are wandering around out there, and finally they're saying something. So if you don't think this Charlie Kirk thing affects Canada, it does. He was a voice for the conservative students that are at these universities. He was the one that promoted dialogue between everybody, whether they agreed or disagreed with him. Some agreed, some didn't.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
And that was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't about violence.
Yeah.
It wasn't about violence. It was about dialogue. Let's see what you have to say.
And he was well read, well researched. He had no education to say. He was just a person who went in at 18 years old and put it together, and he knew what he was talking about. I mean, when it came to the Bible, he knew it like the back of his hand.
Yeah, he could recite it scripture by scripture, verse by verse.
Constitution, yeah, it was amazing. So he didn't go in there blind. He went in there, and he went in, and he himself always said, if you can show me that I'm wrong, I'll accept that. And I know he would have done it. And, you know, we're talking about Canada, and I watched some of the Canadian media yesterday. Yeah, you know what? They absolutely sicken me. They really do.
They're sickening.
It's trivial. A right-wing conservative was killed yesterday. Most Canadians don't know who he is, Charlie Kirk. Well, you're so wrong in that. I can't tell you the amount of phone calls and texts that I got yesterday.
Oh, my phone blew up yesterday.
So, and that was of all ages. And he's affected all of us. He's affected the world.
He really has. And you know, I really despise the media, because at the end of the day, it's not open. I got no mic for him.
I'll just make him stand here.
But at the end of the day, Now, Dr. Peter Sacco is coming in. I'm telling you, people are freaking out over this. Now we got Dr. Peter Sacco here. We got to set him up.
We'll fit him in.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you go up there,
yeah,
there's a patch cord. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, we apologize.
There's a patch cord sitting right under that. Yeah, right that thing right there. Right? Yes. If we can put that bag maybe on the floor. Here, give me that. We'll patch him into number 1 here. And grab that microphone on the desk there.
No, I'll just listen.
No, there's an extra mic here. Yeah. You don't need that. We got another chair in here too. No, not that one. No. Right here, Peter, in the box. It's a handheld mic. It's up on the shelf. Okay, we're going to get this going, everybody. People want to be in on this. People want to talk about it, and we got a psychologist here. He's going to give us the insight. You can grab that chair and just roll it over too. Try not to hit my thing. There's your microphone. You can get that chair over there. That's great without hitting the mic. Look at Peter. He's got muscles, that kid.
Yeah. Oh, look at that boy. All right.
Okay, let's see. Let's get.
Apologies for that.
Okay, I don't know. There's no on switch. Okay, well let's just plug it in. Let's see. Go ahead.
If not, Pete, you can get close over here.
Hello. Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
What would you like me to say, Paul?
You're supposed to talk. That's what you're here for.
Okay, I'm here for. I can talk.
So we're talking about this Charlie Kirk thing and what he meant to America. Now, Peter, if he moves right over here, he can get on camera too.
Yeah, slide right over, yeah.
You know, he can slide right in here.
This is like got double feet.
So we're getting cozy here. There's Dr. Peter here.
Actually, it's like Siamese twin thing here going on. Yeah, it is. We just look so alike.
We're all pretty good friends here anyway. Okay. So, Dr. Peter, welcome to the show. We're going to introduce Dr. Peter to the show here. We're talking about this Charlie Kirk assassination yesterday, and I was saying I didn't even want to do the show. I'm distraught by this. What should I be feeling about this as a conservative, having faith, and everything else?
Angry.
Well, that I am.
Absolutely infuriated. Because the bottom line is, even Christ warned us that this was going to happen. If it happens to him, if it happened to Stephen, if it happened to all of his disciples, and you have to take the good out of this. And Charlie Kirk has just revolutionized probably the greatest revival in history of the world, Christian history, and it is called the multi-billion soul harvest. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, so we said, like, this isn't the end of what Charlie Kirk stood for. It's the beginning. It's going to be a revitalization, a revival.
Well, you know what I believe, Paul? It's awakened, I should say. I don't use the word woke. I can't stand that word. It has awakened a massive sleeping giant now, and I'm seeing it and hearing it. So it's coming, baby. It's coming. Just as Kim Clement said, it's coming.
What do you say to these people that are dancing around happy they got shot? What's the matter with these people?
You want a professional take on it or a personal take? Personally, let's go both.
Yeah, let's go both.
Anybody who celebrates the killing of another human being, especially with their wife and their little children, that he's never going to get to tuck them in again, they're virtual, in real-time idiots. There's no other way of putting it. You are a person who does that is a complete idiot. And I'd ask them that question. What if that was your mom? What if that was your dad? What if that was your kid? Would you enjoy it? And they would be screaming from the rafters and the rooftops, oh, I want justice. I want justice. And I'd ask them the question, is it as funny now if I was doing that? And the answer would be, well, and you know what, Paul? I'm tired of that because I've been asking people that many times. And that's what I love about Charlie Kirk. I was a huge fan of his. And he basically took the Socratic model, which when I did my undergrad, I was going to be a lawyer originally. Socrates was one of the most brilliant men to ever walk this planet because he never gave answers. He only asked questions. So what Charlie did, he would let people basically corner themselves at their own illogic. And to go back, celebrating his death, if they were to keep asking that question as Charlie would, they would eventually see, what I'm actually doing. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy if it was my mom or my dad.
And the strange thing is, it's the same people who were dancing in the streets when Trump got shot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't the ones that were dancing in the street when the Floyd riot started. That was serious. Like, that was. But yet, if you were to ask any of those people any questions about either one, the Floyd riots, what Floyd represented, they had no idea this guy was a career criminal. He did horrible things. And you ask, well, what did Charlie Kirk actually do wrong? They can't answer.
Stuck by morals and principle.
Because he didn't do anything wrong. He wanted dialogue. He didn't want violence. And every time these Democrats or these left-wing radicals, whatever you want to call them, stood up to discuss anything with them, he beat them. He explained everything they said and proved it wrong. They don't like that. They don't want somebody like that motoring around, causing trouble and destroying what they're trying to do to America or Canada even.
Let's call
so
it
they kill him.
Let's call it what it is. It's definitely good against evil. That's what it is. And
yes.
It's a spiritual war. And there is no denying that now.
You know, Yuri Bezmenov was a very smart man, former KGB. He said the greatest way to take down a country or a nation is divide its people and turn them against one another. And the best way of doing it is making them realize that they're basically you're boiling a frog, and they don't even realize they're being boiled to death, and they're turning on each other, and they've absolutely destroyed a country.
That's true. Hold that thought, because I got a question for you. I've got to get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Guess what I had last night?
Pete's Pizza?
Yes, I did, with cup and char pepperoni. It was excellent. I'm telling you, they make a great pizza over there. The pizzas are consistent. They do it right every time. They use a Mancini family recipe that's been around for 40 years, and they just know how to make a pizza. Now, they have other stuff on the menu too, like beautiful wings and everything else. So you want a pizza, give a call to 905-374-2222 or use a Dine Dash, everything else. Go to their website, pizzavictoria.ca. Enjoy a pizza. You know you want one. I always want pizza. I had a couple slices this morning before I came in too.
That's when you know it's good.
Yeah, that's when you know it's good. Cold out of the fridge. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. They support the show. Support them. Now, we talk about the same people dancing in the streets and everything else, right? What do you think is going to happen now? What comes next? People on the internet are saying about this and that. And, you don't want to start a war or a civil war or whatever, because that's what they want to do, is divide the country. But where do conservatives go now? This is what I asked. Where do you go what do you do when you have to deal with violence? How do you deal with violence? And I asked the person, what would you do? And there's no answer, because what is the answer?
Well, you want God's
either
answer?
One of,
God's
either
answer
one
is
of
this. It's love and forgiveness. Now, that's a tough place for me at times. Like, that's a really tough place for me. But that's what you're supposed to do. Love, forgive, try to talk to these people. I don't have that ability right now. I really don't. Maybe as a doctor, Peter, for psychology, maybe you got a better answer.
You know what, Pete? I think the best way of approaching this is don't speak unless you are spoken to or asked. But then even when I'm spoken to, I don't justify it anymore. I'll be honest with you. Since 2020, I've taken a verbal beating and career beating for some of the principles I've stood on. And guess what? The principles I've stood on have all been proven to be true now. And as a psychologist, I've had so many people come to me and actually share stuff and tell me stuff. They have, let's just put it this way, a lot of people have buyer's remorse, a lot of regret. And the stuff that's going on, the shenanigans behind closed doors, I've had professionals tell me that they know stuff. And they're afraid to come out. They're afraid to say stuff. And I think that's just it. Unless you really know what you're talking about and you have the goods, you're better off to just, run your own race. Don't get in other people's lanes, because how can you try to convince somebody to come to your level if they're not capable of even first? It's something that I started a couple of years ago. Rather than get in arguments, my response used to be, I would try to explain it to you, but it would take too long for me to try to explain it to you. And even furthermore, you wouldn't even want to hear me.
And that's the truth. That's the truth with a lot of it, because people walked away from Charlie Kirk's microphones because they didn't want to hear what he had to say, the truth. The truth isn't always pretty, and the truth doesn't always agree with you.
Well, basically what we've done, I think, is dehumanized. We're dehumanizing North America. And we created this thing called the collective. You got to belong. Now, the collective existed in schools because you always had that cool crowd that walked around, everybody kind of followed. I never fit in there. That's why I always had a problem in life. But the collective has now grown and it's massive. And somebody, somewhere, turned on a switch. And I don't know how they did it. It's definitely something psychological. I don't know if it's government. I don't, if it, MK Ultra. What is it?
You said it best, Pete, when I asked you once, why has the media gone down the toilet?
Mm-hmm.
And what does op-ed stand for?
Operative.
And it's an operative is based on opinion.
Yeah.
And so basically what you've had, and I remember my professor when I was doing my undergrad studies in television and communication, asking us how many of you people believe in what you see and read on the TV or in the news and all that stuff. And everybody's putting their hands up and she goes, I don't want a bunch of class full of dummies. She goes, I want you to do your investigation into stuff. And that was in the late 80s. And it was right at that time. And it was really when Clinton came in where he signed some bills into effect where it was a conglomerate controlled by whoever they wanted. And I remember I worked with John Barber from Real People. He wrote JFK. And John Barber gave me all the dirt on it. He says this is how they were able to kind of change things up. So you then went from factually based news to then truths that were based on opinions and your perception.
So that's how they turned the light on.
And here we are.
And here we are. Because if I was to ask you, Paul, what would you have a harder time accepting? A person's opinion or an actual fact if it went against you?
A person's opinion or
an actual fact?
Well, I would take the person's opinion and then research it, see how factual it actually is. What are the facts versus what is that person's opinion?
Okay, so then even the next question is what is it easier to argue? An opinion from an opinion perspective or a factual?
From an opinion perspective.
Why? Because you're never wrong, correct?
That's right. And when you have the facts, when you lay down the facts, and that's what Charlie Kirk did, there's no arguing facts. There they are. How are you going to argue it, right? Whereas with an opinion, it's just that. And you can overcome anybody's opinion with facts if you can find them. If the facts are valid. Because,
facts have to be facts, right?
That's right. Because there are a lot of facts out there that
I've literally, over the last 5 years of what we've gone through, had arguments with people. And trust me, when I open my mouth, I have the facts. And I would have a factual conversation, and they would say, I don't care about the facts. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Yeah. I'm going, okay, how is that possible? I mean, what happened to this conversation, right? You don't want the facts. You just want to have whatever makes you feel good.
Well, beliefs are very hard to challenge because they don't need facts.
Yeah.
If you believe in something, it's very hard to argue with somebody who believes in something because no matter what you tell them, you're not going to change their beliefs. And beliefs may be based on fact. They may be based on beliefs. I see mail in my mailbox every day, so I believe there's a postman delivering them. But I may never see the postman. But they're there every day, so I believe there is a postman. Do I have a fact? Do I have a picture of the guy or anything? No, I don't. I mean, so there are beliefs that, like you're going to argue, no, there's no such thing as a postman. Oh, yeah, there is. It's mail in my post thing every day. So, that's a tough one to argue beliefs. When somebody wants to argue beliefs, it's better I just say, well, that's what your belief is. You're entitled to it. It's a free world. And that's that.
Okay, so there's an amazing, he's now a retired professor, he used to be at Brock University, Jack Adams Weber. And Jack did a lot of research on what is called personal construct theory. This is basically where you have it's basically a paradigm. You're on a continuum where black, white, right, wrong, good, evil. And the problem is, and you can both, verify this or negate this. I believe that we've come into a society that has been so polarized that you're taking extreme ends, and then you are then basing a lot of your beliefs on it, which then serve as a tremendous component of your self-concept, which is your core identity. And therefore, you are willing to die on a hill just for the name of being right because you're on that polarized side. And this is what we are in, that kind of society. And that's basically what, Jack used to show. And I did my dissertation based on that with television viewing habits and why individuals could be easily hooked on pornography and even go and commit sex crimes and violent acts because they only saw one side. And at that point, Paul, you cannot think abstractly because you're only able to think concretely, which then takes you back to Piaget, which basically says you're going into early childhood where you think, basically in terms of animistically. I see things in terms of how the world unfolds for me. It's nighttime because the sun has set and the moon has risen, and it's time to wake up in the morning because the sun has risen for me.
Geez, I get up way before the sun rises. I got to change my habits.
Now, what I think, though, is identity is being wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
Personal identity is being wiped out on a daily basis. And I think that was the fear in universities with Charlie Kirk, is he was bringing identity back. And he was doing it on a Christian basis. And they felt threatened because that movement was going like no movement had gone before. Look what he did as far as young people with the vote for Trump. Absolutely amazing what he did and the effect he had. So, I mean, he had to be taken out, and he was assassinated and taken out yesterday. I still can't believe it. I really can't believe he's gone.
No, me neither. It just mystifies me why anybody would want to do this to a guy who was about dialogue and not about violence. And he died by the gun. He knew the risks. He had threats before. He was wearing a bulletproof vest. I mean, he had security around him. But, when you have people who want to kill you.
He wore a bulletproof vest?
Yeah.
Yep.
He had one on.
So whoever shot him knew all of this.
Well, they were saying that it hit the edge of the vest and ricocheted up through his neck.
Yeah.
And, if somebody wants to kill you, let's face it, they'll find a way. There's no doubt about it. If not by the grace of God, Trump would be dead today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with that.
That was the hand
Yep.
that helped him. But Charlie knew the risks. And that's why he's sitting there now saying, don't stop what I've started. Carry it on. This needs to be carried on, and it's so important that even little fish in the pond like this show with a conservative view carries on, and I was saying to Peter, I really wasn't going to come in today. I just didn't have it in my heart. But Peter said he's coming in. I said, well, we got to do it. Peter, what do you think? Now, I was watching Crowder.
Which one?
You get 2 pieces for the price of one.
Well,
Yeah.
Pete and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting confusing here.
But clinically, like I was listening to Steve Crowder, and he was saying that from his information, the guy they caught, and that was transgender. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but he did mention it. Now, we've seen over the years, since 2016, so many people who have a voice, from Biden to De Niro to Depp to Black to Madonna to Maxine Waters to Bruce Springsteen. We see these guys stand there, Kathy Griffin holding a decapitated head of Trump, dripping with blood on national TV or video. And then you have a bunch of kids being indoctrinated in universities, some of them with mental illnesses from all the drugs they take when they're early. And then you show them all this stuff. They see all this stuff. And then you start drilling them with hormones. They're transgenders. What does this all add up to? We've seen it so many times. It's there's got to be something to all this. You're a guy, Well, yeah, that's right. Good point. We're talking about that.
Well,
you're he, she, they, them.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think the effect of all these people giving that message? Biden saying we've got to target Trump. I mean, it all adds up. At some point, somebody that's nuts is going to take action.
If you go and look at the fundamental characteristics of a narcissist, you will see word salad, gaslighting, flying monkeys, the whole 9 yards. This is what this is all, Paul. Like, clinically looking at this is a narcissistic approach for control. I called people out on this, professionals in my field, where they were talking about, well, there's multiple genders. It's like, okay, so we all need to then go and pull every single paper, book. Every student should ask for a refund on their money if a textbook was taught that had Kinsey in it or Masters and Johnson. Because they've been teaching us misinformation for decades. You paid university and college fees for this, so you should be entitled to, like, your money back. Just like you see, these commercials. If you've been exposed to asbestos, you may be eligible for a settlement.
Mesothelioma.
Well, there you go, Paul. You know the truth, and there you go. So, have you not then been corrupted and taught misinformation? Therefore, you should be entitled to get your education back, which you bought and paid for, and the schools put it out as misinformation. So there should be a lot of apologetics and walking back here.
Peter, what do you think about this? Does this all have an effect on these guys?
What's that?
Yeah, about these celebrities that getting up and saying they want to punch Trump in the face, and Biden wanted to take them out back and put a target on them, and I mean, Maxine Waters then are saying we got to eliminate them. I mean, they're not even pulling their punches about this.
Of course,
somebody has to be affected.
Of course it does, and that's where you get the ranting and raving. That's where you get the people cheering when somebody dies. But the reality is, if you're looking at both the attempt on Trump and the assassination of Charlie, these are professionals, okay, and they can say it's gender or race or wherever it is involved, or they had mental illness. Somehow, somewhere, somebody high up is taking these people out or attempting to take these people out. And it's right there in front of your face. It's so obvious. You can't deny it. It's so logical. Just take Trump, and I've said it again, I said it on the show, is there is no way anybody could crawl on a roof. If I was in charge of Secret Service, because I'd be looking at all cameras and no roof would have anybody on. That in itself says it all. You look at Charlie, first of all, how did Charlie Kirk get in a situation where a guy's up under, nobody sees these guys? There had to be cops there.
Well, there was videos that showed the guy walking and then laying down. I mean, they're going, look at, there's a guy up there. But nobody, how did the guy get up there?
And to get off a
He
shot
climbed up.
when it's so I don't believe that person was somebody that was, changed by what the whole platform of changing minds they put together in the narratives and the agendas and the separation of race, color, and creed. I really believe that this is an organized group, and it probably leads back to the globalists and the people who want to change this world. They want disruption. Take it down to the basics. And Charlie would preach this all the time. Let's take it down to family. Destroy the family, and you destroy unity, protection, and security. And it's the truth, because once you destroy a family, who do you trust? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, where did you want to go? I want to be my mom. I want to be my dad. And I always said, I've had friends in their 60s whose parents separated are still affected by that divorce, that separation. And they say, oh, it doesn't affect the kids. They get over it. It's not true. So when you destroy the family, and I really believe that the devil loves to destroy families, and I think what they're working on and all the stuff with the transgenders and the kids fighting and taking children out of your hands, and now what they want to do age 10 and have them, if they want, they think they're a boy, they need to be changed. I mean, this whole thing is disruption of family, and that's what it all boils down to. And Charlie was extremely aware of that.
Yeah, man. You know what? As a psychologist, I've seen a lot of folks just messed up with this, the confusion of it. And it's funny, up until 2016, 2020, there was not a lot of gender confusion.
Yeah.
I know this as a fact because I taught human sexuality in the 90s. Into the 2000s, there was not a lot of that, considering I had hundreds of students, considering I had hundreds of clients, considered I did documentary on it called The Madonna Complex, where I worked with leading sexologists who are experts in their field, one out of Connecticut and New York, and another one huge in in the UK, that is involved with essential therapy training, which has the biggest minds, some of the biggest, brightest minds in the world, like Tony Robbins. You come in there, folks of that ilk, and you know what, Paul? There was none. How could all of this confusion just kind of happen overnight? And the question I have for anybody of our age, even let's go back. What are we all in our 50s?
Oh yeah,
40s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll take that.
if you take anybody 80 in their 80s, you can talk to 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, and I'll even go as 30s, and ask them, as you were growing up, did you have problems thinking about your gender, and were you confused about it? I'm going to guess it'll probably be what Masters and Johnson or Kinsey put out. It'll be something like 0.001%. So all of a sudden, how do we have this epidemic / pandemic of gender dysmorphia, not being able to understand it? Just like all of a sudden, we're all growing up. I saw one of the odd cases of peanut allergies, one of the odd cases of autism, one of the odd cases of ADHD, all that stuff. And all of a sudden, boom, it just blows up overnight. And why?
It's fabricated. It's made up. Somebody made it up. I mean, because when did this all change? And somebody asked the question about when did the Democratic Party become violent? Right? And I'm going,
let's go back to the roots.
Let's
of the
go back to
KKK.
Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah.
And Lyndon Johnson. I mean, they've always been violent. It wasn't a Republican who killed Abraham Lincoln. It was John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat. And you go right through it. And Lyndon Johnson wasn't a Republican who killed Kennedy. I mean, you can go through all of it. And 9 times out of 10, what you're seeing is the left wing. The left wing. It's not the Republicans so much.
Well, you look at it.
They're not totally not guilty. I mean, they've probably done it too.
You got some rhinos in there too. And
Well,
you got some problems. And of course, when you get comfortable in a political position, a lot of things can happen. But, you look at when Biden was in, I mean, that was rough. Okay. And if you're a conservative, that was tough. But nobody went out and killing people and torturing people and trying to get them, hurt or taken out. It didn't happen. All of a sudden, Trump's in. Charlie Kirk's out there supporting Trump. Charlie Kirk's got to go. I got a question too. And if you look at, this is something you got to be able to talk to us about, Peter. Why does every religion go out there and support themselves? They're strong in their faith. They wear the regalia. They're out in the streets and they're promoting, and they're not afraid to say, I'm this, I'm that. Yet Christians hide like ostriches. And it's such a phenomenon. I mean, there's starting to be a little rebirth, but why are Christians so afraid of who they are?
Hold that thought. I'm going to get to my third sponsor. And then you can give us the answer.
Is it a pizza again?
No, it's Hamel Machine Company. Been around since 1948. And they deal with a lot of industry. When industry comes into a town, what they need is a good machine shop, because when they break down, time is money. They can't afford to be broken down for a long time. So who do they call? Hamel Machine Company. And Hamel Machine doesn't just go in there and fix their machine. They reverse engineer parts that they need and make them better so they can be more productive, because time is money. That's what they do. They have the staff. They have the technology, 3D cutters. They have water jet cutters. They got everything there that you would need, and the people who know how to run them. And they haven't forgot about the little guys. You shear a pin on your snowblower. You need a fabricated gate for your backyard. They can do it. They'll do the whole thing for you. They've been doing it since 1948. Hamel Machine Company. Go to hamelmachine.ca. You'll see the wonderful things they do for the wine industry, the food industry, and the agricultural industry. Support our sponsors. They support the show. Thank you so much, Hamel Machine Company, for supporting our show. Peter, you're on. Peter number 2.
The doc.
Repeat. Doc Peter.
It really is an interesting question. And it's somewhere, and I don't know, I can't pinpoint a year, but I'll go, hypothetically speaking, it's interesting, this all kind of changed with 9/11. How ironic it's 9/11 today.
Yeah, we're sitting here today with that.
Yeah. And at that point there, for some reason, you were asking why do Christians hide it or whatever?
Like ostriches.
It's almost like something after 9/11 where Christians, and I'll even say to a degree, even, Orthodox Jews and that stuff, almost became or had to become apologetic for who and what they were because they were offending others. Others felt offended by it. And so, not to boast or brag, I do a lot of stuff in film, and my work gets recognized in places like India, Thailand, China, Japan, those countries that are Buddhist, Hindu, strong Punjabi based, even Africa. And the latest videos I've done are Christian and they're winning. So the funny part is they don't have a problem with it. So for whatever reason, we're supposed to be apologetic to whom, though? And the ones that we're supposed to be apologetic to don't want an apology. In fact, going back to the 2000s after 9/11, I remember I was told out of school, it's frowned upon to say Merry Christmas tree and put a Christmas wreath up on your office door. And then I'm sitting there thinking, I love East Indian food. My wife and I, we go to East Indian restaurants all the time. And I love them. Vietnamese, Thai, I love every culture. I love all cultures on this planet. And I go into their place at Christmas. They got Christmas trees. They got wreaths up and all that stuff. And here I am sitting there thinking, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and that's the truth. I have an Indian family living 2 doors down, and they celebrate Christmas. They got a Christmas tree on the front porch. And people are telling you can't say Merry Christmas, it's Happy Holidays. They've taken the Christian away. And
Who's taking it? That's
exactly
who's taking it?
That's the thing, because it's not the Indians who are protesting.
No.
It's the woke, and you don't like using that word, I know, but it's the people that aren't Indians who are yelling about it. They do the loudest screaming, whether it's indigenous, Black, transgender, they're the ones who scream the loudest. It's never the people themselves. Why is that?
Once again, we can go back to this whole boiling a frog one moment at a time until it finally realizes, oh my gosh, I've actually cooked them dead. Where it's strip away one little freedom here and there. If you're doing it piece by piece, you don't realize it. Like I had somebody throw this out to me again the other day at the gym and said, I live in Niagara Falls and I have no idea all of a sudden how the heck my taxes went from this point 10 years ago to all of a sudden this. How the hell did this happen overnight? Why was I never aware of this? Or how was this very expensive recent walkway put into the falls where I didn't even know, and they found out what the money that went into it was. I never voted on that. Why can I even have a say on it when I drive Lundy's Lane every day, and so does the majority of the population, but what is the population that walks on that walkway? So it's like almost, Paul, it's like people become unaware of what's happening, and little things are being stripped away here and there until eventually you're in the boiling water and you don't realize, holy cow, I'm boiling. I'm in, over my head.
But the only religion they seem to be afraid of, and it is fear, and I mean, is the Christian faith, and obviously Jewish as well. But it just drives me crazy that what they did yesterday was for one reason. It was for fear. They wanted to create fear that if you stand up and talk about what you believe, this is going to happen to you. So ostriches, get your heads back in the sand, because this is what's going to happen. And it's all about fear. And does it put people back in the sand, or is this going to wake people up? I pray that it wakes people up.
Oh, I think this is going to really wake people up. I think it's going to wake up a young crowd that was looking for someone or something to follow, and there it is. Actually, what they don't even realize, he's basically, in my opinion, Charlie Kirk is like a modern day Robert Kennedy. And basically, they martyred him yesterday.
Oh, they really did. And somebody said this is going to be a tipping point for America. And like I said, I don't know which way it's going to go, but either way, it is a difference. Charlie Kirk had 5 or 6 million, maybe more followers. I mean, this guy wasn't some schmuck that they knocked off. This guy was big, and he said the right things, and a lot of students in these universities loved him, and most people did love him. Whoever listened to him, and that they loved what he did because he wasn't confrontational or violent. He didn't preach any of
Offensive.
that.
He would just said what he believed, and he welcomed conversation, even from people. Like some people were nasty, swearing at him and talking down to him, and he was always at that same level. 31 years old. I look at that guy. He didn't look 31, but I'll tell you, he had the mentality of a well-aged 80-year-old with his wisdom. He had incredible wisdom.
This guy could have been the next president.
Yeah.
Not maybe this election, but down the road, he could have been president of the United States. He was headed that way. Not now, because he's too young, but you never know. In 10 years, he might have been the guy running for president. He was that dynamic, this guy.
I think at 31 he could have been president. To be quite honest with you. I think he had. I think he had the goods. I really do. I think he had the goods. Trump totally respected him. What a class act Trump was yesterday, and what he had to say about Charlie. And if you didn't get a chance, go online. I have not seen the shooting. I will not look at it, but I recommend listen to what Trump had to say, because it was very touching and it was genuine. And he talked about God. He wasn't afraid to talk about God in prayer, which I don't think many presidents in the last few decades were able to do. And it's people say he's not Christian. Look what he did in his life. Well, a lot of people did a lot of bad things in their lives, right? Look at King David. Well, he did some bad things too. But the thing about him is he's the only president is not afraid to talk about God. He's not afraid to talk about Jesus Christ, his Savior. And if you're looking at votes, that's not a thing to talk about if you're looking at votes, right?
Not really. Not in North America anyway, the way the world's going right now.
So something changed him, and I know definitely you talked about it, but the shot that didn't kill him was definitely a divine saving.
Yeah, it was just too unreal. As much as it winged him on the ear or whatever, 1 second earlier could have went right through the side of his head. That's divine intervention. If you ever wanted to hear about divine intervention, that's got to be it.
And he knows it.
He knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it. I had a couple quotes here that I wanted to read to you. You can comment on them. You ever hear of Clay Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Lawyer, American writer, radio host, and television analyst. And he says you cannot call your political adversaries Nazi fascists and modern-day Hitlers, then say political violence is wrong when your deranged lunatic supporters act on your statements and kill or attempt to kill the people that you've attacked. How right is Clay Thomas? Clay Travis, I should say.
Doesn't get any righter than that. That's it. Common sense. Oh, it's not so common. Sense.
No, but what it is it gets recycled in an echo chamber. What is that site that they have? I forget what it is, Blue Sky or whatever. I forget what it is where it's just being channeled, and the younger ones look at that. And once again, going back to the op-ed thing, well, I believe in this because you ask individuals, well, why? Well, I heard it. And that's basically going back to this. If somebody's putting out something and making accusations, so-and-so must be a Nazi because of what they stand for. The funny part of that is I've actually seen individuals who are Orthodox Jews that had individuals that were in the death camps being accused of Nazis. And the funny part is I believe Donald Trump's son-in-law is Jewish.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Exactly.
And so is his daughter now.
So there you go. And yet
Yes.
you're calling a person a Nazi or a Hitler. Like, really? Like, really do the 6 degrees of separation? You might actually see that, okay, this is like not kind of stupid thinking.
It is. And, I just don't know where America is going to go. I get a feeling, I don't know about you, Peter, or you, Peter number 2, Doc Peter. I get a feeling a lot of people right now are feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
Because like, what's left? They're going to go out and take out Charlie Kirk. What's left? How do they ever get justice for anything? Like the girl on the train there got stabbed in the side of the neck and killed, left Ukraine to come to America. And because it was so dangerous with the war, and gets stabbed on a train for no reason. A guy just stands up with 14 criminal convictions, stabs her to death, and then nobody on the train made a move to help her. And she just bled out and died right on the train. I mean,
I'm not from that generation. I'll tell you, I've been the first man in. That's just the way I was built and brought up, and that's the way my friends are. That's the way you guys are, you know. So,
But my question that I have was not in the news, mainstream news, not in the media. I thought we all are standing with Ukraine. What happened to that echo chamber? That's dead and buried now because it doesn't fit the narrative.
got it. Has to.
people don't care.
You know, you're talking about feeling hopeless, and I had that yesterday. I'm not going to deny it. I was at my trailer, and I went there. I done one of our shows, and I thought, I'm just going to go out there and sit. The sun, beautiful day, sit by the beach. And my son texted me and said, "You got to pray for Charlie." And I was listening to my buddy who does a show down in Florida called Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, and he said, "I'm not sure," and then he said he died, and I felt hopeless. I just like somebody sucked the blood out of me. And I went, what? Somebody like that's gone. What's next? But I really had to get inside myself, and I had to start talking to God, and I had to start pulling myself out of it, and realizing that there is good in this. Even, I mean, his word, unfortunately, his family is going to suffer, and his poor children, his poor wife, and his friends. But the world will benefit from this. I believe that, and I believe that he will become a phenomenon worldwide, and his message will get out there more than it ever will.
These conservative talk shows, you think they're going to build up their security around them now? I mean, I saw Megyn Kelly.
Now.
I saw Megyn Kelly on TV, and she was in tears. And you got Tucker Carlson and guys like that. I mean, are they going to beef up the Gary Fauci?
Yeah.
Are they going to beef up their security? I mean, they've got to be worried right now. These nuts are running around.
Well, the guy I was just telling about in Florida, thank God he does not do it in a station. He's somewhere where nobody knows where he is, and thank God for that. But now he does the things where he shows up in public and does shows. He's going to have to reconsider that.
Yeah, they got to beef up their security now. We're here, right? So I'm not really that worried about it. But
it's not going to stop my speech. I'll tell you that right now. I will not.
No, well, that's it. That's the whole thing they're saying, that you can't let it stop you. You can't crawl in a hole because of this, because that's what they want to happen. You killed you killed Charlie Kirk, and all of a sudden you stop the conservative narrative, right? But so that's the last thing Charlie would have wanted.
Yeah.
So everybody out there's got to continue on. If you have a conservative perspective, if you believe in family and God and everything else, then you've got to continue on with that. You can't be quiet about it. And like I say, conservative need to get louder, not quieter.
I think what you need to understand is if you don't stand up now, they will take over. And this is the message. They're just taking off the top. They're taking the cream off the top. We're sitting in the rest of the coffee. And if we don't start getting swirled around and stand up and get our heads out of that coffee, we're in trouble. They will take us over. And it's like you said, the frog being boiled. Slowly but surely. And finally you're in it and go, oh my God, what did I do? What did I let happen? This should not be. And now you're sitting in a world that you don't know, and you know you don't belong in. And that's where they want you.
You think that's true, Peter? Dr. Pete?
I do, and I believe, okay, going with this here, you mentioned, I believe one of the things that this is going to do is force people to go. I was asked by my wife when she got home yesterday, who's Charlie Kirk? Because she doesn't follow,
I had somebody ask me that
in her own world.
Who's this Charlie Kirk guy?
So then they're going to go look into it. So they've literally awakened a beast. Now, going back, if I was to ballpark what the percentage is of the radicals and those that are pulling it, they are a small percentage.
Yes.
And conservatism, like if you look at that populace across the world, it's growing and rising in leaps and bounds. So the last thing I think these individuals ever wanted to do was awaken a sleeping giant. Now, my concern, and this is just a huge concern of mine, and I was talking to somebody that was ex-military that they had brought this up. At some point, we're going to get sick and tired of this and go take this into our own hands. And you don't want us to go and take care of this. And that's what you do not want to see. And I don't want to see that happen, because these folks that are provoking and pushing the bear are not going to like the bear. The bear is, once it's awakened and angry, it ain't going to go back to sleep for a while.
And the bear is huge. That's
Massive.
what they fear. These small little idiots that try running the world and taking over, they know how big we are. That's why they want to cull the herd. They know how dangerous we are if we stand up. It's been proven. I mean, just look at what was it, the restaurant? They were changed their logo, and then
Cracker
Oh,
Barrel.
Cracker
Barrel, and the beer company, right? Bud Light.
Yeah.
What happened when people stood up? That will happen in any scenario, any situation in this world.
Well, we're seeing it happen right now in Britain with the St. George flag and everything, right?
Huge. In Nepal.
We're
In
seeing
France?
it in Nepal, in France. They toppled the government. And we're also seeing it in Chicago, because these gangs are coming out and saying, we don't want you in here.
Yeah.
Bring it on. We'll be fighting back. And that's just giving the conservatives who are going to go in there and stop crime a good reason to go and kick their ass.
And they will. Those people have no idea what they're dealing with.
You're right. When they awaken the beast, watch out. Watch out.
And that's my concern. Like,
We don't want to see that. But
no, I don't want to see a civil war. And
No.
that is almost what is being provoked. And the problem is once you let the genie out of the bottle, good luck trying to get the genie back in. And people go, they would get what they deserve or whatever. No, I don't want to see anybody hurt, killed, or suffer. Even if I disagree with them, they have a right to life. They have a right to an opinion. But
Yes.
their right to life and opinion shouldn't override my right to live and enjoy life.
And you know what? Their right to an opinion shouldn't override my right to an opinion, because they want to be right. They don't want your opinion. And I found that out online too. I gave it to a guy, and he sent me a message saying, blah, 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 and I'm going, get out of here. I'm going, you had your say, so live with it.
There was a conversation that you and I got involved in on social media a couple of days ago. And I just said my piece about the situation the country's in, our Canadian country, and how we're in big trouble. And I said it nicely. And I got this blah, blah, blah. Who do you just completely condescending. And here's the facts, and this poll, and blah, blah. Well, it's like, it's word salad, okay? Show me the poll. Show me the numbers, because I'll show you the numbers that I have to show you what I just said. And then so what I did was, I wanted to debate. I wanted to get into it. And I went, nah, not this time. I'm just going to you're right. Thank you so much for that. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm so sorry.
You know how many comments that I put in Facebook today and then erased them all and said, these people aren't worth it?
No, they're not. It's not worth it.
I did that about 20 times this morning. Believe me. But you know what? I want to get to my last sponsor, the Niagara Parks Commission, and then we're going to have a little bit of talk about another quote I got, and then we'll talk about that, and then we're out of here because we're at 5 after 1 as it is.
But you don't mind going over a little bit, right?
No, I don't mind. No, that's why we're still here. I would have booted you out a while ago. But I got to get to my fourth sponsor, Niagara Parks Commission, and for over 100 years, Niagara Parks Commission have been custodians of some of the most beautiful parkway in Canada, maybe in the world, all centered by one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, Niagara Falls itself. But the Parks Commission just doesn't rest on being custodians of this beautiful parkway. They actually set up attractions that are not only interesting, they're historic, like the Rankin Power Station that they refurbished. And you can walk through the race tunnel right to the edge of the river. The scenic tunnels where you can stand right by the falls coming down right beside you. The Great Gorge Strip where you can walk beside a grade 6 rapid. So dangerous, boats can't go through it. These are the attractions they provide for you when you come to Niagara Falls. And you know what, you guys? We're guilty because we don't take advantage. We don't go down there enough to see the beauty of Niagara Falls.
I do.
And I love it. Thank you very much. Because it is beautiful down there. We make walking trails. We have 32 miles of the most beautiful walking trails in the world. And when you talk about the money spent on that, yeah, I agree. Niagara Parks Commission, they take care of it all. You can even see Bob Gale's goats on the parkway eating the grass rather than lawnmowers do it. Niagara Parks Commission is amazing. Niagara Takes Flight is their newest attraction. $25 million, an immersive, interactive trip from Fort Erie to Niagara on the Lake, Lake Erie to Lake Ontario, including the falls, historic sites, and history as it occurred I mean, we had a big war here, War of 1812.
Yeah.
A lot of history in this area. You're coming to Niagara Falls like 14 million other people do. Go to the Niagara Parks Commission, go down and take in everything they have to offer, restaurants included. NiagaraParks.com is where you go to see all the attractions. You get your attraction passes, parking passes, the whole 10 yards, NiagaraParks.com. Support our sponsor and get down there more if you're listening from town because it's beautiful down there. And I hear the falls on my front porch at night.
I hear it on mine. I'm in the north end.
Yeah, and I very seldom go down there, though, only when you got to schlep tourists around.
And locals have a good deal on the pass.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So there you go. Niagara Parks Commission support our sponsors. They support the city. They're good corporate citizens. One last thing I'm going to say here, right? I'm going to end with, and you can discuss anything else you want after this. Or George Orwell said, "The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it." Now, I found that to be pretty deep. Is it true?
100%.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say about it, right? I mean, really, truth is set you free.
Yeah. It does set you free. Anybody who's spoken the truth in a situation where they were just carrying that around with them, just a heavy load, and they spoke the truth, they always say, "Oh my God, I feel so much better."
And this applies to this assassination of Charlie Kirk. The more it will hate those who speak it. And a lot of people hated Charlie Kirk, the ones that you see hating him, because he did speak the truth. He told the truth. He had dialogue about the truth, not to incite violence, but to incite dialogue. He believed that dialogue was the answer to prevent violence. If you're not talking, you're fighting.
What did Jack Nicholson say in A Few Good Men? You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the reality, Paul. It really is.
Yeah, I think you're so right in that because people don't want to hear what, don't tell me I can't do this or don't tell me about that because I want to do what I want to do. And if I hear that, if I read the Bible and it says I can't do that, well, I'm not going to read the Bible because then I can do it and I didn't know, right? And it's all about me. I guess the world's been turned into if you are looking for one of the switches we're talking about here, it's been turned into the me world, especially with the young. It's all about me. It's all about how I look. It's all about what I do. I mean, when you got kids now in their 20s doing their lips and their face and worried about wrinkles, there's something wrong. Something really wrong. I mean, look at us. We haven't done it.
We look good.
But
I wouldn't waste money on surgery. It's not that important.
But it's somehow, again, like the frog that's boiling slowly, it's perked up and boiled up into our society, and it's become a disease, and it's a big disease.
Erik Erikson is a famous psychodynamic psychologist that looked at 8 stages of development. And the stage, the fourth, you get into what is called identity versus identity confusion, which is in adolescence. And he says, basically, there's your TSN turning point for how you're going to be the rest of your life. You're either forming an identity as a teenager, defining who you are going to be going forward, or you become confused. And a lot of that confusion, and you see a lot of it, is through conformity and identifying with your group. Back in the day, all of us we try to fit in, and this is what the big thing is. And if you look at that stage, Paul, he's what we used to call, what he would say we have is an imaginary audience. We believe that we're performing in front of others, and others are always judging us and evaluating us. What is happening today, I believe, is textbook Erik Erikson, where the identity in so many teens is totally distraught, and literally there's so much confusion, and this is what has led to this whole...
Done intentionally.
Absolutely.
In their most vulnerable time.
Absolutely. Because, whatever happened to freedom of speech and creativity, that's shunned. And you're basically muffling voices that are not growing. And we could spend hours talking about, just look at the music industry.
Yeah.
Where's the creativity in that? Where's the quality of it today?
It's gone.
And it started once again. When did it all start? Right after 9/11, kind of, didn't it?
Yeah, that changed the world.
Well, they knew they were stealing freedom. That was the beginning of the big pull on freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The way
check
people
your
think.
shoes,
Yeah.
check your bags, check everything. It was the end of fun and flying, I'll tell you that. I don't even enjoy being on airplanes anymore.
Not at all.
It used to be fun. I used to enjoy getting on an airplane and flying somewhere and enjoying it, but that all changed.
Now it's a chore. Like even I'm supposed to be at film festivals starting tomorrow all weekend and the next week. I'm not going to one single one of them. My stuff's premiering at 3 different ones, 3 different film festivals. And I already told my wife, I can't handle the 3-hour drive to Toronto from here each way, then the parking, then the chaos, and all of that stuff. Whereas in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, I used to love to go to Toronto. It was, as you say, Paul, fun.
Yeah, Toronto was fun. We used to go there all the time and go on Boxing Day. We'd take a bus there when we were kids. Go to Sam the Wrecker Man and everything. Now I wouldn't even go down Yonge Street. For what?
It's gone, isn't it now, Sam?
Oh yeah.
No, it's been closed for a long
Is the world's biggest bookstore still there?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because I remember I used to go there. You must have went to the leather ranch.
No, Sam's is my place.
You didn't go get leather pants there, Pete?
Oh no. No, I wasn't that guy.
Yeah, I never wore leather pants. I did have the platform shoes and the satin
did?
shirt. Oh, yeah, I know. That was all.
Tony Monero.
Oh, I had them.
Yeah, everybody had those. I mean, but
the bell bottoms.
yeah, and the bell bottoms, of course.
But
But
it's different. Like this is the ongoing theme I keep hearing is Toronto is no longer the Toronto I remember, and now I'm hearing Niagara Falls is not my city anymore. This is not the town I grew up in, and I don't know it anymore.
you're right. A lot of people say that.
It's
a lot
not-
of people say
It's
that.
not the city we grew up in. It's not clean. It's not. I mean, I used to be so proud to tell people I was from Niagara Falls. You got to come here. You got to see it. You got to see the falls. You got to see the parks. You got to see it all. And I mean, the parks is where it stops. Okay, and then you start to move back into the city. It's like, how could a city this small with this population and that type of business going on look like this? And just look across the street here.
There you
Okay?
go.
You
Meteor
look-
crater.
The meteor crater. There's weeds all over the place. The sidewalks are all over the place. You can't walk down the street, but we're putting in. I don't even want to get into this. Putting in
But that's for another show.
That's for another show.
Tomorrow.
What is it putting in?
More places that you can walk through.
Yeah,
highways.
Yeah, trails, walking trails.
What they really need to do is get. This is just my humble opinion. Get more front end alignment centers at the end of Lundy's Lane. I've driven down there at home. My gosh, if you ever want to see if you're missing any, you want to
please.
chip teeth.
A disaster.
You know what I think? Again, let's go back to the frog boiling in the pot. That's what's happened in this city. Right?
Yeah.
It's just been slowly whittled away, and the money, I don't know where it's channeled, but it's definitely not going where it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's been melting in front of our eyes, and now we're boiling.
It's
Yeah.
very confusing. It's almost like, and I hate to say it because I really got back into history again. It's almost like, I don't know if this is just my opinion, but it's almost like the history is getting removed. My grandparents were one of the first settlers down in the Center Street area. And it baffles me. I was having this conversation with a group of folks on history and trivia on Facebook. Why the arena ever went? How do you remove a war memorial?
Oh no, 2 of them.
Yeah, Stanford, same thing. Stanford Arena, same thing.
A war memorial. Like,
Yeah.
Is that
With incredible history.
like it's funny because Pete, you live in Florida now, and if you ever go to Station Street in Orlando,
Yeah.
it's like walking back
Just
in
there.
history.
Yeah.
Where they've preserved it and they've kept it, just like Niagara on the Lake to a degree. But I tell everybody, I brag and boast about Lewiston. It's like,
Yeah, oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
it's phenomenal. And this is what really we should have here. And I wish we could have that.
Don't know why. Haven't got a clue. We got to wrap this
Like
up
I
on
say-
Charlie. We got to.
like I say, yeah, and Charlie, I mean, like you were talking about, just back to him for a minute, when conservative kids go into these liberal arts universities and colleges, you talk about,
Broadcasters too.
yep, you talk about conformity in that, right? I mean, you go in there as a conservative and you're not looked upon very well. Charlie Kirk was the guy who came in and made you valid and made your point for you. They loved him when he went there.
He did valid.
He's gone now.
Yeah, yes.
There's nothing we can do. He's gone, and now we just wait. We wait and see what the repercussions of this assassination are going to be. And we just hope that it's not going to be violence or a civil war or any of that, because that's not what America needs right now.
No, we need, literally, we really need to embrace peace. And if anything, we need to and it was as a song music video I recently put out, which is at the film festivals, based on we don't only need to learn or figure out and empathize what it's like to walk in another person's shoes, but also what it's like to tie those shoelaces for those shoes.
And on that note, we're getting out of here. Thank you guys for coming in.
I just want to say
This
one
has
thing,
been
Charlie.
awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Just,
Go ahead.
Rest in peace, good and faithful servant.
Yeah, I mean, God bless his family. I can't even imagine what they're going through right now. It's terrible. It's terrible. And 2 little kids, 1 year and 3 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, this is not right.
He was a warrior for all of us. Understand that, and believe me, if I had a flag, it'd be at half mast.
Yeah, true. My name is Paul Kalemir. This is Peter Dychtiar. That's Dr. Peter Sacco. I thank these guys for coming in. I wouldn't have done a show without you guys being here, because I really didn't have the heart for it today. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you from the studios of 4680Q Radio. Support our sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamill Machine Company, and finally, the Niagara Parks Commission. We'll see you tomorrow with Finally Friday at noon. Promises made, promises kept. Tune in tomorrow for another great show, and I'm going to go home and think about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going to do.
God bless you all.
God bless you all.